Hey guys, for Season 8, Riot have this new way they want to do patches, where they're going to alternate between a big patch and a small one afterwards. 8.2 is going to be a big one, so let's catch you up to speed on what to expect when it drops in just over a week's time. We're going to look at minions to start with, and they've actually added buffs to help you understand different effects that we have in the game, and I bet like you didn't even know about these, honestly. Actually, it'll be really cool to see. There are 5 buffs here, so leave a comment with how many you didn't know. These are nothing new, just to say, by the way. They've added the buffs for clarity, basically. Number 1 is anti-tower sock. So cannon minions take 30% less damage from turrets. This is why you want to try and push a tower with a cannon wave. Number 2 and 3 are very similar, and these are ones you probably knew about. Gusto minion takes 45% of its health per turret shot. So this is for fighter minions. It's trying to help you CS a bit and understand that. Freakish Gusto is a minion takes 70% of its health per turret shot, and that is for casters, again, to help you understand CS. Number 4 is different though. Super mech armor. This is the one I didn't even know existed. Unit takes reduced damage from AoE effects. I had no idea, but I think this only applies to super minions. Number 5, I kind of half knew about. Super mech power field grants nearby minions 70% increased damage, 70 magic resist, and 70 armor. This is a buff on a super minion, and it buffs everybody around them. If you've ever wondered why lanes push so hard with supers in them, this is the exact reason. Every minion gets stronger in that lane, not just because the supers are strong. This is also why if you lose an inhib so early, the minions feel really hard to kill, like harder than normal. You've got to get through 70 armor with no armor pen items just yet. I knew about the increased damage one, but I actually didn't know about the armor and magic resist. So let me know how many of those you actually knew about, how many you didn't. But moving on to champion stuff, we have the new kind of mini rework first of all, and this is crazy. His Q has a new effect. It grants 3 to 11 plus 5% of your AP magic damage on his basic attacks. This can stack up to 5 times, and this is the effect where if you use your Q on a large monster, you get a stack of it. It actually also gives 2% max health, increased size, out of combat move speed, and now this extra damage lasting 55 seconds per stack. His W in Blood Boil is the really big thing though. It's got a new effect on it where it increases AP by 40% for both targets that it hits, so him and the target he's using it on. This has a maximum effect of a bonus 40 to 120 AP depending on the rank of it. That is also in addition to move speed by 8 to 13% increasing that, and increasing attack speed by 25 to 50%. I'm going to explain how crazy this actually is. So the first thing, the only item in the game that can have 120 AP on it is a death cap. Morello and Ludens are the closest below that at 100. So yes, 120 AP gifted to a champion is actually massive. To show you a bit more, 120 AP has a gold value of just over 3,500 gold. That is how much you would have to spend in the shop to get that much AP. So you just given a late game Orianna or Xerath or whatever a 3,500 gold damage boost. That is not including the move speed, the attack speed, not including Nunu gets the free AP as well, giving over like 7,000 gold worth of free stats to both of them. Seems kind of stupid. We can make that worse though with certain champions like maybe Azir or Kayle. These guys have 2 streams of damage, AP to make things hit harder and attack speed as well. For example, on Azir, that makes your soldiers hit faster. You're giving them 50% attack speed and 120 ability power for free. That is more than a Nash's Tooth worth of damage, by the way. Before anyone says Nunu already gave free stats with the attack speed, this isn't that different. Yes, but the 50% attack speed is worth 1,250 gold. 120 AP worth 3,500. A little bit different, and for Azir, he gets both. This seems kind of mad to me. I don't think he'll get to live servers, but we'll have to see. Nunu is struggling right now, so maybe he needs it. Do you think this is too far or nah? Some AD carry stuff though that's coming through. Ezreal's Q damage is going to be down, especially rank 1, which I think is kind of weird. He's already falling off now. The meta for AD carries is shifting a lot to later game scaling AD carries. Like people that like Vayne, for example, Tristana will survive basically the lane phase versus him and then do more damage in team fights. One of the best things about him used to be his poke, which was nerfed, and also that he was so safe, but the meta in general is safer now for AD carries anyway, so you don't really need to be super safe like Ezreal. Jinx buffs have finally got here. I hope you can tell from my voice, I'm actually excited to play Jinx again. Her base AD has been lowered, but her AD growth has been increased. Her passive has been changed as well. The attack speed no longer stacks up, something that a lot of people didn't even realize, but no attack speed cap anymore while it's active, the same as lethal tempo. Her Q is really big though. Bonus attack speed given now is 30 to 130% from 30 to 70%. Minigun attack speed though no longer scales with her level as well, so she is missing that part. The first attack as well, after swapping from minigun down to rocket, that rocket fires much faster, almost like an auto attack reset. Not quite, very close. Rocket animations have been updated to feel smoother as well. So let me take you back to patch 5.10. No joke, season 5. She was overpowered at the time, and this is the nerf that brought her down reverted. This Q buff is literally what they took away from her before. They're reversing that. This should make her literally insane mid-game now. Level 9 having a ton more attack speed. It's actually like having another rapid fire cannon worth of attack speed on Jinx at level 9. That is ridiculous. Passive could also be really cool. Attack speed stacking was nice, but I don't think it was a must or anything. If you got 3 kills and were stacking it 3 times, you probably won the fight anyway. You don't really need it. Being uncapped though means 100% crit builds, so Infinity Edge, Runins, and then rapid fire cannon and a shift, for example, that would be so sick with this build. Even the first attack after minigun firing almost like a reset, that is so good for trading and team fights and swapping in between. Not gonna lie, giving her 4 really good buffs right now is probably gonna make her kind of overpowered or really good again. Last AD carry 1 to Vayne. Her R bonus AD has been lowered from 30 to 70 to 20 to 40. Pretty harsh at rank 3 to lose almost a BF sword worth of AD, but she is crazy strong right now. The main thing it's going to do is actually lower the burst damage from her tumble especially, which is a good thing I think, but she'll still be pretty decent at least. It's kind of typical though. Vayne is good for a few patches and gets whacked straight away. So other random champion stuff, Brand, his passive is now going to only work on large monsters, not small ones anymore for the explosion damage at least. Bit of a weird change. I haven't seen much jungle Brand honestly, but apparently Riot thinks it will be too strong if we did start to play jungle Brand. Evelyn has had her E percentage damage nerfed quite a bit actually. It is aimed at just the percentage damage though on that, so mid to late game damage really. How much she can burst you down really. She is losing at least 3 to 4% maximum health damage out of a combo, which could kind of hurt really. Kha'Zix has had his passive AD ratio halved actually, but his Q bonus AD ratio increased by 10%. It's basically like a reshuffle. Doesn't seem too massive because you're getting the AD damage back into your Q anyway. Malzahar is finally getting nerfed. His QAP ratio is down. His ultimate cooldown has been increased by 20 seconds rank 1, 10 rank 2, and it's the same rank 3. I don't know if it will be enough, but 20 seconds could be big. It's already a very long cooldown actually. We're now up to over 2 minutes once it goes on cooldown at rank 1. That is a long time to be without the thing that makes you so good. It should kind of stop the snowball as well, at least a little bit. It's kind of hard to repeat gank when he doesn't have his ultimate. Ornn is pretty big though, finally. Both of these actually suck for him. Trading will be harder with his W change is no longer unstoppable during the cast. His ultimate cooldown has been increased heavily rank 3 though, 140 seconds to 100 from 130 to 70. Massive for late game team fights. These team fights will not be as strong. Sometimes he could honestly use it to start a fight to engage, and if the fight dragged out long enough, he could use it again to finish it. Let's move on to some rune changes. There are a few keystones that are getting changed. Aftershock is the first one we have. Armor and magic resist gained from this been changed from 20 plus 30% of what you had to a flat 85 to 175. Explosion damage has been lowered though, much lower base damage overall. It's 3% of your maximum health instead of 3.5, but it does use a bit of your AD and a bit of your AP. This is quite big because it changes what it's there for, I guess, away from tanks doing damage and more about them surviving. 85 armor level 1 is actually massive. Like trying to kill a champion with that will be pretty impossible, that's for sure. Even gaining 175 when you dive in later seems crazy too, thinking about it actually, but that is the point. You take it on a tank to dive in, CC people, engage, and wait for your team to follow up. That is the whole idea of the keystone, so that is why they are making them so tanky now. The damage is down, the base especially, so trading in lane will be a lot worse. In teamfights, it might not be as noticeable, and I doubt you pick this for teamfight damage anyway, really. Bruises are okay though, because they have some of their AD being fed into it now, which will boost the damage up a bit more. Basically, tanks will now be really hard to kill when they dive in and they proc this. Guardian's cooldown is also getting increased early, especially. It actually starts at 70 seconds now, going down to 40 from just 45 seconds at the entire game. The shield is going to start a bit lower, so it won't be as strong. The AP ratio is slightly up, and bonus health ratio is up as well. I didn't really think Guardian was that strong, but maybe it was doing a bit more than we could actually see. It's kind of subtle with the shield at the start of the fight. The cooldown will make it worse in the lane phase, definitely, so you will notice that part, but it should be a little bit stronger in team fights. Now, this is one of the weirdest changes in the entire video. Grasping Undying, ranged champions damage and stuff has been changed. The damage, healing, and health gain is reduced by 40% of the actual amount now. It used to be a little bit different, and basically it's slightly better now for ranged champions. I have not really ever seen a ranged champion use this before though. I don't know about you. I'm not sure why they even would when they have so many other better keystones. I actually sat here thinking, and I cannot get a champion that would use this that is ranged. Like, let me know below if I'm missing something and I can't think of one, but I actually don't know why they changed this. Okay, Glacial Augment is cool though. Range attack speed slow has been increased by 10% to start the game. It still ends at 40% though, so the same as it was before. Melee attack speed slow is increased by 5% overall, and the freeze rate slow is increased by 10%. This could actually be really cool. Some people are taking Glacial Augment on ranged champions more now, and it's actually working. It's a really cool concept, and this might make people try it more. Some smaller rune stuff like Triumph, the gold on takedown has been lowered by 5. I'm not sure the gold is why people take this, but sure, why not? Coup de grace is the other one in precision though. Damage lowered by 2% down to 7% now, which kind of sucks. The other options just are not that good for an AD carry, but I think this is like a rare case of other roles ruining it for us. Normally it's the other way around. We ruin things for other champions, but every damage champ right now takes it, and now Riot is trying to stop them going like Triumph and Coup de grace secondary every single game with like domination first. Zombie Ward is getting a nerf as well. Finally, duration of wards now scales with the game, like it should have done the entire preseason. 60 seconds to 180 seconds timer instead of just lasting 180 the entire game. This is probably the most overpowered rune in the entire game, and I'm really not joking. Wait until pro play happens in a few days in Season 8, and you will see how these guys use Zombie Wards legit to dominate vision on the map and make the game so difficult to play. The last thing is the big vision change that we're going to have in 8.2. We did a whole video covering all of this, so if you want to know about it in more detail, feel free to check out that, which I'll link below, but we'll cover it quickly in this one, kind of like a summary. The short version is that Sightstone is getting a rework, and it's coming in 8.2 most likely. Sightstone and Ruby Sightstone have been removed from the game completely. You cannot buy them anymore. Frost Queen's Claim, Talisman, and Face of the Mountain have been removed from the game as well. Current support quests, so Speed from Coin and Spell Thieves, the Shield from Targons, they are all gone at the same time. What we're getting instead of that is support items can now only be upgraded into the Eye, but they are all 400 gold cheaper than before. Coin line especially, like that is actually super cheap now. Support quests have been replaced with Warding, which grants wards as an active on the support items instead of the other stuff we had before. You will need to have purchased the tier 2 version to be able to get this, to get the active item, to get the wards and stuff. They have 3 wards, the tier 2 ones, and tier 3 upgrades will hold 4 wards. The gold needed to complete the quest has been lowered to 500 from 750 though, meaning you'll complete the quest much earlier into the game now. This is where you're earning gold using the support item mechanic and the gold generation, the bandit stuff. So this means that all tier 2 support items will now have their current stats, just a built-in Sightstone basically on top of that after you complete the support quest on the item. The only other thing that really changed with this that is also important to remember is that Relic Shield now has 50% healing if you are a ranged champion. So now AD carries will basically stop buying it. They won't get a shield from the quest anymore from Targons, which is one of the reasons, and they won't get as much healing either. So it's honestly pretty much a waste of gold. So that is the 8.2 PBE patch in a nutshell. I'm actually losing my voice, so I'm going to go and shut up now. I think this will drop in about just over a week's time, actually next Wednesday. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Thank you for the likes, the subscribes, but for now, I'll leave you with the robots.